I started riding when I was 3. My dad was Kenny Roberts' first sponsor when he was 14 years old. And my grandfather had a truck company. And so I think he had about 50, 60 acres. And on that, we had a motocross track and a short track. It was actually the first, you hear a lot about Kenny Roberts Ranch and Valentino's. That was actually the first ranch. So we had
Wow.
a short track and motocross track, and I lived there. I grew up on it. And it was cool. The short track, my grandfather, he put almond holes, where I grew up in Manteca in the Central Valley, a lot of almond farmers and stuff. And so he took the holes of the almonds and ground it up, put it in the dirt, and it would hold the moisture. So you had a perfect cushion short track every time he went out. So that's where Kenny rode. Skip, grew up there. I grew up riding there. I started racing a little bit when I was 8 years old. One of the cool things on the short track, there was, and I was riding then, I think, a Yamaha 60 Mini Enduro, and they were building a trailer park off in the distance, and there was a big mound of dirt, and there was this kid riding like the same. I could tell it was the same bike, and I rode over there and checked it out, and then it was Fred Merkel.
No way.
So then Fred came over and rode on my track. So we've known each other for since then.
Was it your dad that had the Suzuki dealership, or is that your uncle?
No, my dad had a Suzuki dealership. I think he sold Hadakas too at the time.
Okay.
And
that was in like the late 60s.
It would have been, yeah.
67, 68, I think I saw.
And my dad was a pretty good racer. Grew up around Lodi Cycle Bowl and all the Northern California scene. He'd be the first to admit that, when it came to the pro side, that's where he kind of faltered. He was a good amateur guy. We have a pretty bitchin' picture of him at the Santa Rosa Mile. He's got the whole shot, and there's Jim Rice and Rayburn and Lawwell and Dick Mann, all those guys behind him. And then I said, what happened down the straight? And he said he missed a shift. Didn't make the main.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How long did you guys have the dealership for? Because that's actually, my family was a Suzuki dealer in 66, so it was kind of funny to see that.
So he had the dealership, if I remember right. It was late 60s, and then he moved it actually to the ranch in the early 70s, and then he started working on Kenny's flat track stuff. So back when Kenny was a junior expert, or junior, when they were running the 650 Yamahas, my dad was his mechanic at that time. So dealership side kind of faded out, and he just went to work with Kenny.